scout is prepared unless you're the Cub Master. All right, what the heck with it. This thing's on, right, Chad? Sure sounds like it. All right, everybody, welcome to the Blue and Gold ceremony. If you would all please rise for the presentation of the colors. Scouting was started by Lord Baden-Powell of yore to teach young boys hunting and tracking lore. Our boys learn to have pride in all that they do, whether it be daily activities, crafts, or what have you. So wear the blue and gold for truth and spirituality, for sunshine, happiness, and steadfast loyalty. The Scouts will now recite the Scout Oath and Law. For Pack and Troop 422, the Blue and Gold Banquet fills two purposes. The first purpose is to celebrate scouting in the United States. It has been 111 years since William D. Boyce incorporated the Boy Scouts of America on February 8, 1910. Second, it is about the transition of the Arrow of Light Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts. I would like to thank everyone for joining us at this ceremony today and supporting our Arrow of Light Scouts as they transition to Boy Scouts, or should I say Scouts BSA. I have no idea how many of you might be watching this virtually or later by later recording, but I want to thank you as well for joining us and for your support of the Pack and Scouting movement. Scouting is a fellowship, and here are some things that I've written down just so that I would make sure that I got them right today. Scouting gives everyone the opportunity to participate, to learn, to grow, to lead, to help each other out. Help other people at all times. So before moving on, I would like to say that I have really appreciated the help over the years. I've been Cub Master for the last couple of years. I've been serving as the den leader for this den of boys since they were lions. Last summer I changed career, and as a result I've been an absent leader. A leader in name only. So I really appreciate Brian Jacobs for having taken over the reins as den leader for these boys. I appreciate the PAC's committee chair, Dan Moser, for all the work that he has put into running this PAC over the years, especially for his filling my hole this past year as Cub Master. I also appreciate all those who have helped me or helped meet the PAC's needs to keep it thriving. The parent and grandparent participation is a large reason why I feel it is an honor and a privilege to be up here before you folks today. Unfortunately, this year we are not having a banquet, skits, or songs to celebrate the scouting movement. However, we do have an Eagle Scout present with us who would like to share some thoughts on scouting. Is he here? There he is. So I apologize, all I really know at this point is this is Mr. Schlegel, teacher Mrs. Schlegel's husband. Thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem. Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Naaman Schlegel, and I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 101 in the Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Many, many years ago, I remember my blue and gold banquet. I remember being a very small fifth grader ready to move on to Boy Scouts. I was one of 39 that year making the transition and crossing over the bridge. We had 3 dens of 13 in Cub Scouts for that age group. My entire family was very involved in scouting, especially my mom, who did all the kind of secretarial work for the PAC. And when we got to Boy Scouts, that changed drastically, because in Boy Scouts, there's much more responsibility on the boy. In my family, scouting was very important. I was one of 5, and my mom's expectation was that all of us would one day become an Eagle Scout. I remember my first Boy Scout camping trip. We were sitting at a meeting, planning our meals for the big event. And my patrol, I got chosen to bring the food. Well, let me tell you, responsibility really steps up when you're in charge of feeding a group of about 9 of your peers. So it was very, very difficult to pack, I believe it was 3 different coolers for that weekend trip. I learned a lot about responsibility. Later that summer, after I crossed over, a tornado hit the town that I lived in and really, really changed my perspective on life. What I learned after that tornado hit, we were lucky enough it didn't hit the house that we lived in, but it did damage our community. What I did is I helped every day those affected at our fire company. I would help serve meals, I would help clean up from the tornado as well as the meals, and help distribute goods that were donated. I worked daily at that fire company helping my neighbors during that very difficult time. This taught me a love for the community that later was instilled throughout scouting as well. As years went by and different interests kind of took over, different scouts move at different paces. I was passed by younger scouts who moved through the ranks quicker than I, and I watched a lot of my good friends give up on scouting. As I mentioned, there were 39 of us that began the journey together. Out of those 39, only 3 of us made it to the Eagle rank. It is a very, very difficult task, and I hope all of the boys in this room get there one day. For me, the intrinsic motivation was a simple card. Nowadays, I'm not entirely sure, but in my troop, every student who got their Eagle Scout would get this card. It's an Eagle Scout card, kind of looks like a credit card, and it does not work in buying anything off Amazon, unfortunately. However, I was motivated deeply to have one of these cards in my wallet. After I received it, I kept it in my wallet for several years until eventually it started to crack, and I took it out of my wallet and put it in my desk drawer. One of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make came actually in scouting. I was becoming a junior, and it was summertime, and I had 2 options. I could either go to Hawk Mountain Scout Camp, where I desperately needed to get my swimming merit badge. I'm a land creature. I don't do too well in water, so it was a very difficult badge for me to earn. Or I could join my friends and my team on a trip to Europe for soccer. In the end, I ended up choosing going to summer camp for various reasons, but most importantly, that drive to become an Eagle Scout. After camp, I was able to start on my Eagle Scout project and built a soccer wall in my local community park. Next thing I'd like to talk about is how scouting has helped me beyond moving up to the rank of Eagle Scout. Not only has it taught me many values that I try to live by daily, it also had a direct impact on helping me get a job. When I graduated from college, With a bachelor's degree and an elementary education certificate, there weren't many jobs available. We were in a recession back in 2009, and out of the 88 friends that we had a Facebook group, 88 friends were in there from Westchester University where I graduated. Only 5 of us ended up getting a contract in a Pennsylvania public school that year. Some left for other side of the country for jobs. Many went into subbing. I was lucky enough to be one of those 5, and the reason being, the thing that put me above the other candidates that applied for the job was having my Eagle Scout. As I began working as a teacher down in Reading, my principal quickly came to me and saw leadership skills that were instilled in me in scouting and thought I would be a good candidate to become a principal. I worked towards my principal cert, and today I am a principal in the Allentown School District at a brand new elementary school called Brigadier General Anna Mae Hayes. Again, one of the reasons I was selected to be the principal there is because it involves a community building. The community building is one of the first of its kind in Pennsylvania, and I was chosen because of the way I work with the community. Again, something I learned as a scout. I believe one of the biggest things that us as Americans today struggle with is volunteering. Our communities need volunteers. From 5th grade, throughout my life till now, I continue to volunteer yearly at a softball field that I started out as when I was in 5th grade. There I started out just picking up garbage, knocking down softballs that got lost, and now I run the complex, I run the tournaments, and I'm also the Pennsylvania USA Softball District Commissioner for women's fast pitch softball because of working there. So I live with these 3 core values that were developed through scouting my day-to-day daily life. First and foremost, family comes first. Everything starts and comes back to the family. It is impossible to succeed without a support system. And boys, you might not believe it now, but as you get older, you'll rely more and more on your family. Next is taking pride in your work. Success in your career as well as other fields can become very easy if you simply take pride in all that you do. And please remember, success is finding something that you love and being able to do it every day. And last, provide service to your community. Again, volunteering is very important. Helping our community organizations continue is very, very important. So I leave our scouts today with 3 pieces of advice. Always be a team player. Help others and be responsible and accountable for the things that you say you're going to do to help the team. You'll notice as you continue through scouting, now that you're going to be Boy Scouts, that your patrol as well as other groups of scouts are going to depend on you daily to make everything a success and help everybody get through camping trips and move through the ranks. Next, with everything you do, make sure you give it hard work and determination. These cannot be replaced, and you'll learn that as you get older, that hard work and determination will lead you further than you could ever imagine. And the last thing is adapt to change. This is something you're familiar with. Look at the year we've had. The world is always changing, and there's a big change coming for those boys tonight crossing over this bridge. You'll find yourself often outside your comfort zone. These are the times where you can excel. Do not hide from these times, strive in them. So I end by wishing our boys, both crossing over the bridge as well as our other Boy Scouts, the best of luck in all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
For those who are physically present, please take time after this ceremony to look at the slideshow that we have going on over here and the tables of some of the things that the boys have done as Cub Scouts. I also have a small display of, I shouldn't say a small display, but it's a small portion of my scouting experience on the table in the back for any that might be interested in that. I'm sure there are others in the room who have much more to display than I do, but that was the stuff that was easy to get to. And before boys transition, there is one last award that the PAC needs to bestow upon them. the Arrow of Light. The Arrow of Light Award is the highest rank in Cub Scouting. It embodies the hard work the boys have done through their years in Cub Scouts, and it is the only Cub Scout award which can be carried over and worn on the Boy Scout uniform. With the following Scouts and those who are going to stand with them, come to the front. Luke Blimline, Derek Degler,
Sean Jacobs, Sam Joy, Samuel Lutz, and Carter Tran. As a Cub Scout, you have been guided through the Cub Scout trail with the help of many Akalas. When you become a Boy Scout, you will find that while there are still many people willing to help, you take on more responsibility for blazing your own trail to Eagle. You have been called before the pack because you have satisfied the requirements for Cub Scouting's highest rank, the Arrow of Light. The first band of color is to remind us all of the lessons learned as a Cub Scout. Blue represents the spirit of scouting, the spirit of giving goodwill and doing your best. Scouts, do you promise to keep the spirit of scouting and fulfill the Scout oath and Cub Scout motto, do your best when you receive your Arrow of Light badge? If so, say we do. Parents, these Scouts have faithfully promised always to keep the scouting spirit. As their parents, do you also promise to continue to help your boy in his scouting adventures?
We do.
Parents, you may be seated.
Thank you, Brad. I don't think I was supposed to have that white candle lit already, because the second band of color white represents the Scout Law. Youth and adult leaders will cheerfully show you the skills you need, but it will be up to you to live up to the 12 points of the Scout Law. You will be faced with decisions on a daily basis, and at times the trail will seem most difficult to follow. Make your choices by always remembering the Scout Law. So Scouts, in all that you do you promise to be forever trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent? Now we got the right color. The third band of color, yellow, stands for the Arrow of Light. Within the teepees of many braves, the Arrow of Light has an honored place. Its shaft is straight and narrow, just as is the path you should follow through your life. Its tip points the way to success in all that you do. It is pointing to the right as a symbol that nothing should be left undone. If it is within your power to do it, you should see that it is done. And lastly, this is a symbol of the 7 rays of the sun, one for each day of the week. This is to remind you that every day is a new day, a day to do your best in everything, a day to honor God and your country, to do your good turn, a new chance to follow the Scout Law, and to remember the words, on my honor. They also represent the 7 great virtues of life. The first ray is wisdom.
Wisdom does not necessarily mean superior knowledge. It means putting the knowledge that one possesses to the right use.
Go go, no, you can come back over here. Luke, come. The second ray is courage.
Courage is not meeting danger without fear. It is being able to meet danger in spite of one's fear.
The third ray is self-control.
Self-control isn't limited to the one's control of one's temper, but the control of oneself in all things, emotional, mental, and physical.
The fourth ray is justice.
Justice is the practice of dealing fairly with others without prejudice.
The fifth ray is faith.
Faith is the conviction that something unproven by physical evidence is true.
The sixth ray is hope.
Hope means to expect with confidence. It is anticipated of better things to come.
The seventh ray is love. And I found it interesting that all the boys went over to the white candle instead of the one right next to it, but I'm going to make things simple. Scouts have many kinds of love. Love of family, love of home, love of your fellow scouts, and love of God and country. Luke, Derek, Sean, Sam, Samuel, Carter, you have now completed the requirements of Cub Scouts and have achieved the Arrow of Light. As I previously mentioned, this is the highest award in Cub Scouts. Congratulations. Brian, since you helped them with the last den, you want to help pound out the Arrow of Light words? We were going to put this right on the uniform for the boys. However, the patches go all the way to the bottom where it technically belongs. So we're just going to hand it to them for that. Because they're going to be momentarily putting it on their Boy Scout uniform anyway. Well, maybe not momentarily. The next time they go with it, wherever they go. Would the boys' mothers please come up to the front with their boys? Thank you, Chad. So not only did the boys achieve their Arrow of Light Award, but as indicated by others before me, Scouting is a family activity. So we have little Arrow of Light pins for the boys to provide to their mothers. It's up to you if you guys want to put them on there or not. Nobody dares to accidentally pin their mother, right? All right, mothers, you may sit down. I mean, you want me to go first? You can go first. All right. At this point, as I indicated earlier, I've been the den leader for these boys up until this past year when Brian took over for me, so he'll have some remarks too. I didn't prepare any statements in advance. I just wanted to say, boys, it's been a pleasure to be your leader, to be one of your Kalas. It's been fun going to camp with you. It's been fun doing all the different activities. I find it to be a little bit of a shame that the other 10 or 12 boys that had been with us off and on throughout the years didn't stick with it like you boys did. But I congratulate you and thank you for being loyal scouts. I wish you well throughout your Boy Scout career. I would really love for each of you to achieve Eagle. Obviously, you're going to need some help along the way, but this is now going to be something that you guys are basically in charge of your own achievement now. You guys need to blaze your own path. And I feel proud to have been a leader that helped you learn various activities with tying knots, using your pocket knives. We also learned first aid that night. We were supposed to learn first aid before we did the pocket knives, but we squared that one away okay. We made a ton of mess in this room, between whittling sticks to building the tool totes. Mike, again, thank you very much for helping us do that project. The parents of these boys, you've been a wonderful group to be working with. You've all been very helpful. I've appreciated, Brian stepping up, Chad being very helpful during various meetings. Everybody, Becky too has been very active with these boys. It's probably not fair for me to pick out individual names, but it's really been a pleasure. And before I start just rambling too long, I'm going to switch it over to Brian.
Thanks, Dan. Sorry I wrote some stuff down just so I wouldn't forget anything, but we've been saying it all night long that we're all very proud of our boys. And Dan has said it before, him and I have pretty much been with these boys from the beginning of their career in scouting, and I'm honored to have stepped up as den leader. But again, we've been saying, all the support we've gotten from our den families, we couldn't have done without them. I mean, we have an awesome group of families, and we just can't say enough about, it's not us that did this, it's all of us that did this. These boys are up here because of all of you and us. So give yourselves a round of applause, because you guys are awesome. I mean, I can't say enough about our families here. Come on, give yourselves a round of applause, come on. So yes, and we've had scouts come and go. These boys have been the constant in the den, and again, I'm so happy to have shared the journey with them, and I know for sure that these boys are going to go very far. I have no doubt in my mind that these 6 boys you see up here today are future Eagle Scouts. And I know we've all been saying that they are going to choose their own path, but I will be watching you. I want to see Eagle Scouts out of all of you. So, all right, that's it for me. We actually do I don't know if anybody has a chance to take a look at it. We probably won't be able to bring them up and give them to the boys, or we could. The gifts that we have for them on the back table. Should we bring them up? Yeah, let's bring them up. We do actually have, again, you know, because we have such awesome parents, Mike Joy was actually able to help us craft some gifts for the boys, and I don't think the boys really know about this quite yet. Some of them might have got an inkling, but we do have some really awesome gifts for you guys, something you guys can take with you and hang up on your walls. So you guys don't have no idea what this is, do you? Nobody has any clue? Wow, that's awesome. So we're going to have the mothers present each of their scouts with the gift. So you guys have a personalized plaque with an arrow. And if you're wondering what all the markings on the arrow represents, those are all of your achievements throughout your Cub Scout career. So if you guys want a guide to kind of get an idea, I can give that to you afterwards. But hopefully you guys have something to kind of keep with you to remind you of scouting or your Cub Scouts. All right, how about one more round of applause for our Cub Scouts?
I actually have a gift for them too that I've made as a personal thing. Many of these boys, I think, all know the story about how when I crossed over, I received my official Boy Scout of America pocket knife. It has the cutting blade, the can opener, the bottle opener, the screwdriver, and all. And I just thought it would be nice if these boys had the same opportunity to get a pocket knife that they can use throughout their lives and carry with them. Theirs actually also has a Phillips screwdriver included. But I'm going to close this one up and I'm going to present this to you boys. Now, boys, I hope you all remember the safety things that we learned with the whittling chip. When you cross over to Boy Scouts, you have the opportunity to learn or earn something called a totem chip before you can use that knife on scouting adventures. Treat it with care, treat it with the respect that it deserves. It is a sharp tool. The other thing that I wanted to point out is when you guys move over to Boy Scouts, you're going to learn to be able to do all kinds of other things. You know, and this is a pocket knife, but I made a sheath in scouting to carry my pocket knife. Perhaps you guys will do the same. Perhaps you'll just get used to having it in your pocket. But treat it as the symbol of my appreciation of having been able to lead you that it's intended to be. So, Scouts, it is now time for you to move on. Boy Scouts of Troop 422, are you ready to receive your new Scouts? Just for the recording of the virtual people? Okay. Did you say more than I do, right? So.
Not in the beginning.
Okay, all right. Okay. We should have had an extra microphone, but that's okay, we'll manage. Pueblo Scouts, will you please recite the Scout Oath? Go ahead, Luke. Okay, next one.
Sure. Hello, Boy Scouts of Troop 422.
Hello, Weevil Scouts, Pack 422. What do you desire?
We have some Webelos Scouts of Akela's Council Ring that have prepared themselves for entrance into the Council Ring of Troop 422.
Bring the Weevil Scouts forward to the bridge and join our two council ring.
Scouts, you have contributed much to our den and pack, and we shall miss you and your parents. Now you are leaving us to enter the scout troop of your choice. There, we are sure you will continue to grow in scouting. An important part of Webelos Scout uniform is your neckerchief. Now that you are leaving our pack in Cub Scouting, will you remove your neckerchief and give it to your parents?
Carter, you can come across. Scouts, as Scoutmaster of Troop 422, I welcome you and your parents. There are many traditions in Troop 422, so many that I would not attempt to relate them all to you now. Our troop enjoys the outdoors, and we like to take hikes, go backpacking, biking, kayaking, and camping. Now it is my pleasure to present you with the official Boy Scout Troop 422 neckerchief. Scouts, wear these neckerchiefs with pride as many have done before you. Now, one of our junior leaders wishes to express the troop's happiness in having you as a member.
As a junior leader in Troop 422, I welcome you and your parents into our troop. Will you now please join us in our troop by reciting the Scout Oath? On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally weighty, and morally straight. I will now present you with your Boy Scout handbooks. Go right ahead. Congratulations, guys.
Gentlemen, congratulations and welcome to the troop. Dan? Yep, all done.
Well, it looks like that concludes our ceremony. Parents, I do have the boys' neckerchiefs along with the Arrow of Light patch instead of the pin up at the table for you or them to grab afterwards. But thank you again, everybody, for coming. Congratulations, boys. Enjoy your scouting career. Hey, and also just as a reminder, we have the Pinewood Derby next week in the park. Even though the boys have officially crossed over because we had the delay of the Pinewood Derby, obviously they'll be participating as well. So I look forward to seeing all of you next week.